Over 50 years of experience enriching people's lives. We understand what senior living should look like. Pursuing vitality through a full, active, and purposeful life. Senior living as it should be.
Well, welcome to today's segment of ZoeTV. Steve and I are really excited to be able to share with you today. Dr. Pete Patterson is on our show. He is the Intellectual Pillar Director, and so he talks to us a little bit about his partnership with Glencroft and kind of how it all started and what it means to be the director of the Intellectual Pillar.
It's a big undertaking, and
he
performs it well not only here but over Providence Place, where he got his start.
He actually did start over Providence Place with the antibiotic stewardship program.
That's right.
And then we've got Lish with some amazing recipes this week.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wanda
Spain is our resident profile today. So this guy, again, is going to do some exercise tips that you can do in your home. So it's a really good show. We hope you enjoy it. So now let's go to Lish and get some recipes.
I'm Lish Vasquez, Dining Services Director at Glencroft Center for Modern Aging. And today, on our Zoe Life program, we're going to be making the apple cranberry salad. What you need is some spring mix, or you can use any greens that you like. It's honestly okay. I have some sliced apples, Granny Smith. I have them soaking in some lemon juice to keep them from browning. Let's see, I have some feta cheese, cranberries that are dried, some chopped bacon, and some pecan pralines. Now, any of these ingredients, if you don't want to use them, you can opt for another ingredient, or you can just skip it altogether. We're gonna start building our salad. So take some greens, and the key to making this look really nice is to fluff the leaves and center them high. Just like that. There we go. And then I usually like to take my sliced apples to make it pretty, do them in pairs. So 2 on the outside there, and this side, the back side, and on the side. So it makes a pretty design like that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put on our chopped bacon right on top like that, kind of all over. As much or as little as you would like. And then we got the feta cheese crumbled. A little bit of feta there. I like cheese, so we'll skip on that. And then we've got our dried cranberries. You could also use golden raisins, an idea. Just put those like that. And then our candied pecan pralines, just to add some crunch. Now we usually pair this with a fat-free raspberry vinaigrette. You can also do your favorite vinaigrette with it as well. But that is the apple cranberry salad. I'm Lish Vasquez, Dining Services Director at Glencroft Center for Modern Aging. Eating healthy can taste good. Bye-bye.
So today we're really excited about being able to talk to our Intellectual Pillar Director, Dr. Peter Patterson. And today we're going to ask him a little bit about what is the main idea behind your whole person wellness curriculum.
Well, the main idea is that our model of a whole person, a human, has body, mind, and spirit together.
That's right.
And we talk about them separately a little bit, but they're actually there together all the time. This is an interesting idea, very powerful for people to see that when they have sometimes a body issue is the first thing that comes up, but there's always a spirit issue along with it and something going on with the mind.
Right.
And if you get some practice, because it takes practice to see them that way, then it actually opens a lot of the program that we're building for the whole center.
So it's all interconnected.
It's all connected.
Yes.
Exactly.
I think, just take a step back, Dr. Pete has been on this campus for years and years and years. And when I came on this campus a year and a half ago, we actually sat together in our business review.
Right.
2 business reviews ago, right? And I kind of said, what are you going to do here? And I kind of painted the broad picture. Even we didn't know ZoeLife. We didn't know anything that was to come.
We weren't sure what it was going to look like.
We wanted this whole person wellness program. And he said, I don't know what that's going to entail, but I want in. And I said,
remember that.
I said, I want to create some kind of a pillar structure. And I said, there's going to be this intellectual pillar area. And he said, let me play in that sandbox. I can help you with that. And so thinking back 18 months ago from that conversation to where we have developed curriculum like the Mind, Body, Spirit, curriculum through Beta, where Dr. Pete was able to get hands-on in the nitty-gritty with so many residents who were like, I don't ever spend this much time with a physician. This is amazing to be able to work with them. So Dr. Pete, looking back as how you've seen ZoeLife develop and how you've seen the intellectual pillar play into that bigger picture, what was some perspective that you have on that?
Well, I think you're absolutely right on when you say that it's very interesting, the plan you have and what you think you're doing and how it all unfolds really aren't the same thing. And the real trick that we have been able to do is to go with whatever was next. If it didn't fit a particular plan, we did something different.
Modified it.
Yep, and for me, it was an opportunity to do something I'd never done before as a physician, which is to talk about the body, mind, and spirit, which I guess I inherited from my father, who was also a physician. I guess it's true to say I am also a physician. He was before me. But he would take me around on call with him when he was, making house calls back in the day. Back in the day, I was 13 or 14, and he would, we would talk about things, and he would talk about treating the whole patient and what he meant by that, and then he would tell stories about, we'd drive by houses and he would tell me, where we're going and who did this and all this. And he obviously was very into the whole person and what we would call today the whole person.
And I think too, back then when your dad was doing that, it was the relationship with that one patient, because they were going from patient to patient. They weren't grouping them all together. And it became, I remember as a child, we had a doctor that came to our house and you did house calls there, and we knew him really well, and it was a very comfortable relationship. So I think they did do a lot of whole person, medical doctoring relationships back then.
And he would tell me stories, and the one that really rang for me when you and I were talking was, he told me the story of, he said, a good surgeon who knows what to say and how to say it on the first post-op day can take 10 days off someone's recovery. Well, that was his kind of in the 50s way of saying, the importance of getting the human spirit lined up behind, in the case of surgery, healing and recovery.
That's right.
And so, I've gotten a chance to do a version of that now where we talk about body, mind, and spirit together, and it's so different from what traditional medicine would say. They're into the body primarily, and sometimes the body and mind, but no one will talk body, mind, and spirit because, most people in our culture think of, when they say spirit, they mean religion. When we talk about it in our program, we include religion, but it's bigger. The human spirit and spirituality are way bigger than a religious practice, which is an important.
Absolutely.
Some spiritual practice is really important. So I'm just thrilled really to be able to channel my father and his father, who was also a physician, and go all the way back through the long history of people who take care of people.
That's right.
I mean, that's to me.
Sure.
When I used to teach students, I would say, "This is the greatest game in the world." Taking it like the Super Bowl. We're at the sidelines, we're walking back and forth, and the folks are out
Right.
there playing their hearts out
Sure.
with no fear of injury. You know, because whatever happens, you got guys at the sideline who will run
That's
in and
right.
take care of you.
Yeah.
You know, so
I like that.
That's
Yeah.
one way of that I've used to kind of lay it out for people. Because the important thing really is for people to kind of get connected and used to the idea of dealing with body, mind, and spirit as one thing all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the curriculum that you've come up with, that we've implemented within the university, and some of the lectures that we've executed with you in that, if somebody hasn't participated in any of those, or even those that have, what would you say to encourage them to come when they start choosing the classes that they're getting? And we have 50 classes that are going to be unveiled in early January
Right.
for our
The
February
new
3rd
catalog,
launch.
yeah.
I mean, that's all we've been working. It's so much fun. But you play obviously a big role in that. What would be some things that you would encourage them to go to those classes?
Well, I think that without blowing the horn too much, actually seeing body, mind, and spirit together there's self-reflective growth and development going on with us humans all the time.
All the time.
And in the stage of life I'm in, and they are, I mean, it's really important to have some facility with that. Like, first of all, to find out, oh yeah, that's right. There's a really good book that I talk about in the class called From Aging to Saging, which is all about this kind of self-reflective internal work. It's like the inner game of aging. If we're going to write the book, like the inner game of golf, the inner game of aging is really all about that. And the way we do the program, of course, I tell them at the beginning, it's not so much what I say to you, like, we could write it up, but it's more important what happens for you and what you could say about that, what your insight is about that.
Right.
And so it's very back and forth, very conversational.
I love
which
that.
I think has been a big takeaway from the ones that have done it,
Right.
is that it's not so much a lecture with a PowerPoint and we're teaching to, it's a conversation with a doctor with a unique perspective and a lot of history to lean on. I think they really appreciate that.
Yeah. It's just been thrilling for me to do it.
So now you were over at Providence Place last week or the week prior doing another lecture for us in beta for those guys. And when he tells the story, I wanted to get him to tell it because I think it's very, the building's unique and what we're doing is so unique in that skilled nursing. And other campuses are like, can't believe you're trying to execute a cultural thing like what you're trying to do in that environment. We said, we figured out the way to do it. Now it's just going through the motions and getting it underway. But talk about your lecture over there.
Well, I thought, first of all, I wanted in on that one because my work on our campus
it started
as
at
an
Providence
it was
Place,
at Providence Place. That's where I started, and then I got to work on the whole campus when you and I met. So the first thing I noticed about the Providence Place group is that people say, well, they're getting old. These guys are on fire to participate in this kind of thing, and that's the first thing I noticed is that people are like eager to do this, like the first beta that we did. Like people were pretty soon there. We had a waiting list, like we couldn't do betas fast enough, to meet the demand. And but being in the Glencroft University classroom was good. And when I went over to Providence Place, the first thing is that the room is full of people in wheelchairs, like really.
Yeah.
And so they're in a different way, like moving the body to be well, part of well-being, means something different to them.
Completely,
like a different approach. And we actually solved. I thought getting the people who are wheelchair bound in the pool, which we do as part of the beta, was just genius. I mean, it made such a difference to the people's lives, and it's going well, I would say. And
That's wonderful.
What a thing! It looks different from the front of the room than it does when you sit in the classroom, right? So there they are, and they're like faces are lit up, and like they're asking questions and participating, and you think that, maybe they would have trouble, nada.
No,
No, I mean,
they've been waiting
And like
for
you said,
this.
they were
we
waiting.
started the lecture, we had a certain
That's
number
right.
out there, and
Yep.
then as he progressed throughout the hour, more and more
Yeah.
came in, and
Yeah.
it ended up being a nice big full room. And
That's wonderful.
That's what it's all about over there.
Yeah.
Dr. Pete, thank you so much for being on the show today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're
Thank
welcome.
you for everything that you do.
Thanks, Doc.
Okay.
On today's fitness tip, I wanted to show you personally how we use a simple device like this yellow little strap to change people's lives. This strap right here we utilize for not only posture, shoulder rehab, right, in terms of getting some stability and strength in that joint, but just for general conditioning for your joints. As we age, the joints, they get stiffer. Not only atrophy around there with the muscles, but the joint themselves lose some elasticity and they just don't open the same. So this simple device, right, which is hardly any resistance at all. I got yellow, I got green, I got black. Whatever your level of resistance needs to be, I can accommodate. But what we do with our residents is I will tie this part of the strap up to a wall or a board, and I will start teaching them certain exercises. So this first one is simply, I put a towel, or at home, if you were gonna use something similar, you're gonna put a little sheet or a shirt or some kind of a little towel right under your arm, and we begin to work in this open motion, okay? This external rotation builds up the side of the shoulder. With our residents and in the Performance Center, we usually get about 15 in a row, and we do each side 3 sets. So 3 sets of 15 where they're working on that external rotation. We then proceed to go with a internal rotation, where this band would be tied over here and we bring it across the body. And we're bringing that in with the same idea of holding this in place. You know, when I see people do this at the gym, or I see people doing it their own, and they're working on this motion right here, but all of a sudden that elbow's sneaking away from their body. It's a problem. We want you to be in, we want you to be tall, we want you to be engaged, and we want to work in this motion nice and slow. So again, I have a ton of this down in the Performance Center. So I've also been doing where I cut a little off, send it to residents to take home. They can work at the comforts of your own house doing these motions right here. So we got external and we got internal. The other thing we like to do is have the band, depending on the strength level, in front of you like this. We then proceed to have the arms go up, we open them apart, we bring them back together, and we bring it down. So this sequence can be done with no wrap, where it's just as loose as can be. You'll get a little bit more from her, okay? Or we can get a little bit tighter tension, and we go up, we open, it gets a little bit harder, and then we bring it back, and we drop it back down. The biggest thing we're stressing with our residents when you're doing this kind of activity is to work on your posture, be really tall, and be in a safe environment, right? Be on a very stable stance, don't be on a weird surface, because as you go up and you get a little fatigued, I don't want you to get a little bit wobbly. So for our residents, usually myself or David are with them, we bring it up, we work on this eyes closed, bring it back down. So we get a little of our balance, some of our proprioceptive needs are met, but at the same time, guys, this shoulder work, coupled everything that we've taught you in terms of the range of motion work, the flexibility, this strength stuff right here is a real tool to help you with your posture and your strength in your upper body.
Today, joining us as our resident profile is Wanda Spain. And Wanda was in our Beta 1 ZoeLife group. And so we wanted to talk to her a little bit about what ZoeLife has meant to her this last year and maybe some of the changes that she's noticed since she's been in the program, and maybe life before ZoeLife as well. So welcome, Wanda.
Thanks for being here, Wanda.
We're so happy to have you on the show today.
I'm glad to be here.
Wanda, I would say we met back on January 2nd. We met a few times before.
Right.
But January 2nd was our big day.
Yes, it was.
And do you remember back to that day?
Yes, I do.
What did we do on that day? A lot of assessments, a lot of testing.
Uh-huh.
How do you think you were in shape-wise coming into that environment of day one?
I would say I was very poor.
Did you think you were going to be able to stick it out? To be able to stay with it for 6 weeks, commit to it, and execute?
It sounded like a long time, 6 weeks.
And had you been active before? Had you ever exercised before and tried to do a program like this?
I would get into something like this maybe, but I never really stayed. I always
It was
gave
just
it up.
temporary. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So when we started January 2nd and we got through some of the testing, what were some of the goals that you had for yourself for just that 6-week time period? What were some of the things you had hoped to accomplish?
Well, I was hoping to be more active because the chair was my favorite spot.
Yes. We've seen pictures.
Yes. And I was hoping to lose some weight with it. And I did.
Yes.
So coming out of Beta 1, you survived the 6 weeks.
I did.
Like clockwork. She never missed one session. I
Wow.
just went back just because I'm looking at all of Beta
Yes.
1's original data and doing a bunch of stuff with the data. And I said, she never missed one day. And that was from January 2nd to mid-February. So that was kind of that time frame of Beta 1. You didn't stop, did you?
No, I got sort of into it and decided it was fun.
Aw.
Very cool. So now, almost a year later, how many days a week are you coming down to the Performance Center?
3 days a week.
Okay, 3 days a week.
And do you have a routine that you do? You know exactly what you're gonna do when you come down to the Performance Center?
Oh, he won't let us forget.
We're pretty good about that.
Yes, I can imagine.
But explain to the viewers, like, what a day in the life of Wanda when she opens that door, because she pretty much beats us down there.
Right.
She's got her usual suspects that arrive at about 7:50 in the
Right.
morning, and the door opens at 8, and tell our viewers what a day looks like for you down there.
Well, the first thing I do is get on the bike.
Okay?
And for a while I was doing a whole hour after I got used to the bike, but
Hour.
I decided that was too much because I couldn't do the rest
Right.
of my
It was taking over your
exercise.
whole workout.
It was
Right.
But
taking my
we had her
whole-
built up to doing an
Yes.
hour at a higher
Right.
resistance on the bike. I mean, her conditioning level was
Sure,
so high. I
yes.
mean, it was crazy to watch you
Right.
go for an hour on that
Yeah.
thing. But we've cut back a little.
I cut back to a half hour. That's what I do now.
Yes.
And then we've used the room in various stages throughout the week, right?
Right, different types of exercises, and you go from one to the other. You just get to where you know where to go.
Right.
I think
love
what's
that.
so impressive about Wanda is her ability to do an exercise and really think about her form, do it the right way,
Right.
make sure her counting's right, get her water, recover, on to the next one. And I love talking with everybody
Yes.
down there, but a lot of our residents kind of get caught up socializing, doing it. She is on her A game from start to finish in that room. And I mean, don't you think you're pretty focused down there?
Oh, I am.
Very
It's my
focused.
favorite spot, actually.
Aw. So you just had a big birthday.
Yes.
Yes, which I still cannot believe. So do you mind my saying your age?
I don't mind.
So Wanda just turned 90 years old.
Yes.
And what I want to ask you is, how did this birthday compare in how you feel to 89?
I felt like a new person. I felt like before I didn't feel like I was gonna make it very much longer because I was bored. I was not mixing well with people. I was sort of hiding in my room.
Aw.
But after I started exercising, I started getting friendly with the people there. And we start associating.
Yes,
Right.
socialization.
Right.
Absolutely. And do you attend a lot of the activities on campus?
I don't always, because I have a very large family.
Yes.
and trying to keep up with them and keep up with down here. I don't dare miss time down here.
That's wonderful.
But
well, congratulations on a wonderful big
very
birthday.
deserved.
You do not look your age at all.
thank you.
You look so much younger, and I have to say you just glow, and I have to believe that a lot of it is from this program as well.
Well,
So-
I love this program. That was my best time of my life was when Steve came along.
Well, I think she's doing what we want others to do.
Yes.
Is she's gone through this process. She's worked out. She's gotten better.
Right.
And now she's given back. And she's
Yeah.
over at Providence Place. She's one of our volunteers in ZoeLife over there.
that's so
And
good.
so tell some of the experiences you've seen with these residents over at Providence Place taking part in ZoeLife. Tell us some of what you've been watching.
Well, we do mostly virtual reality, and it's fun. They'll sit there and they'll go, ooh, or oh, they're like,
Yes.
like they're really
That's
good
right.
at it.
Well, you feel like you're right there, too.
I went on the roller coaster
Yes.
and I was going, ooh.
Yeah, she was making the same sounds. So when they have the glasses on, it's usually you and another volunteer kind of working in tandem, right?
Right.
And so how do you help being a
Well,
volunteer? What do you do for that?
I usually sit by the patient, and they are trying to, they can't use one of their
Right,
limbs.
of course, yes.
So I go ahead and hold the deal for them and
Yeah.
hold it close and
Just help whatever way
just
you
help
can.
whatever
them
way
whatever they-
Gary
And I-
needs me.
I think it's when I walk in and I watch the volunteers executing with Gary, the virtual reality, you got one holding an iPad in a chair directly across from the resident, and they have the headphones, so it's hard for them to see. And then Wanda or somebody else will be dictating some of the arms.
Yeah.
And then they'll alternate shifts, and then want to come over and hold the iPad. But it's like this. Gary's helping.
Yeah.
The ZoeLife Army's helping.
Right.
And it's all about
Yes.
coming together and trying to put our hands on that building and making
That's
them better.
right.
But it had to start with you and down here. Like it's
Yes.
this layer effect.
That's right.
Which is
Yeah.
what this whole thing is about. So we love having her. In the mornings,
Absolutely.
what do? We sit on the bike and
Sit
we
on
watch
the bike for
Food
a
Network.
half hour.
Well, we were working out, but we watch Food Network together with our other little usual suspects, and we make fun of the Pioneer Woman and
Oh,
some good
yeah.
ones.
Goodness.
But we love it, right?
It's fun.
And then,
that's
but what's the highlight of it? Just so everybody knows, what's your highlight of being down there?
The exercise, actually.
Yes.
Look how I wired her. No,
I
it was the
know.
massage chair, Wanda.
Okay, I confess.
You love it, right? She won't miss a
I
time.
thought
in
for
that.
sure she was going to say you.
I think she likes the massage chair more than that. She gets in that massage chair, and we got some great pictures.
I know,
We
I
got
saw
her
the
smoothie
one.
on her 90th
Yes.
birthday.
I
She
loved
had
that.
The sponge sitting back,
It was
getting relaxed. Like,
perfect.
that's what this whole thing
Yeah,
is about.
that's what it's about.
That's the ending, is the massage chair.
Yes.
Very good. So I appreciate you coming down.
Well,
Thank you,
I
Wanda.
appreciate you offering the opportunity.
Well,
Well,
we
you're
loved
great.
having you on the show. Thank
well,
you.
it was fun. Thank you.
What a show! And for the finale of 2019, I mean, I don't know how we could have knocked it out of the park better than Wanda Spain.
I know.
I mean, 90 years
Dr.
old.
Pete.
You know, it's been a crazy week down there. We've had Wanda turn 90.
Yes.
We had Minerva turn 90.
Yes.
We had other residents turn 92.
Well,
this is like
What
Yeah,
I
oh,
loved
yeah.
though, what I loved from Wanda is talking about how different she feels from 89 to 90. And part of the reason why, of course, with the Zoe program.
I know.
So
Well, I
it was
think
great.
Wanda has great perspective, and she has so many
Yes.
family that lives around
Yeah.
her, and she has that. But I thought it was interesting. She said I was kind of isolated,
Yes.
and even though she had
And
all that
bored.
family around her, she
Bored,
didn't have
yeah.
that sense of community or
That's
tribe here that ZoeLife has provided for her.
That's right.
And just being willing to step outside her comfort zone, got her immersed in a different
And how many
culture.
times have we heard that?
We hear it
A
constantly.
lot,
I mean,
all the time.
being that this is our final show of the year, we've heard it over and over
Yes.
for the last 8 weeks. I mean, it's been
That's right.
It's been quite a journey.
Show after show.
What's been your highlight?
You've been my highlight.
Really?
Yes.
I was gonna say Wanda.
Well, there you
Before
have
her,
it.
I would
There
have
you have
said
it.
it was the Waynes. And
Yes.
maybe, and I love
No,
Bill.
I like Lori.
Lori White, but I like Lori Farley.
Yes, yeah.
I like them.
So why don't we just go through the list? We've loved everybody
loved
that we've
everybody.
had on the show, and we're excited for the new year so that we can have more of you on the show as well.
But it was a great year.
Yes.
2019.
Yes, and Lish and Jake, thank you for all of the recipes. They've been wonderful, and we look forward to more going into the new year.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us.